Hi, welcome to this revision guide for the live review question, which is section A of the component 3 Theatre Makers in Practice written exam at A-level. We're going to be focusing on Iphigenia and Splott. If you are planning to write about a different play for your live review section, just apply what we're saying to the play that you've seen. So here we have Iphigenia, our original Iphigenia here, sacrificing herself to the gods, almost being made to sacrifice herself, kind of going willingly, but with a bit of a push. So our play is obviously centered around Effie, but is based on Iphigenia, which is why the name in the title is such. So before we go any further, let's look at the spec. What does the spec say it wants you to show in this exam? Very simply, it wants you to show you understand the processes and practices of 21st century theatre making. So do you understand how theatres use lighting and set and sound, how actors use naturalism and direct address and that kind of thing? For Iphigenia and Splott, though, this is also a storytelling performance. We have a narrator. It's a one-woman performance, and she guides us through this performance. If you think about Drive Your Plough, which we went to see recently at the Barbican, this is also a storytelling performance where we have a narrator at the front guiding the audience through the story. But that's got a lot more going on in it in Drive Your Plough, much more heavy on design and technology. And also it has this big ensemble as well of people who add to that storytelling style. Remember, Complicité is an internationally renowned company. The Barbican is an absolute bastion of London theatre. Iphigenia and Splott was written by Gary Owen and performed at the Sherman Theatre in Cardiff originally, where they would have had a lot less budget to make this production. It also then went on tour to regional theatres, and it would have needed to have been easily transported, again for quite a low budget, around from theatre to theatre. And Rachel O'Riordan, actually the director, talks about the fact that some of the decisions they made were made with the budget and ease of touring in mind. But the question you want to be asking yourself is, does that detract from the message and experience of the audience? Are we still able to understand what they want us to understand? And do we still engage in this performance and are interested in it, even though it's lacking in all of the design and technology and the great, numbers of ensemble people that Drive Your Plough has? If you had a question in the exam on technology or the use of design, I think this would be a really interesting one to talk about, and you could reference Drive Your Plough as a support of your argument or a counter argument. Next up, participate as an informed member of the audience. This means you know your stuff, you know your subject terminology, which is our final bullet point as well here. Do you understand what makes theatre? And that comes back again to, do you know lighting styles? Do you know what sound design and Foley artists and diegetic and non-diegetic art, that kind of thing? You understand and experience the collaborative relationship between various roles in the theatre. Okay, so when you make your live review notes, you want to be spacing it out as key moments rather than having a section on lighting, then a section on sound, etc. Have one key moment and list all the different design elements that are used in that moment. Because then when you're writing about it in your how section, you can talk about all the different design elements that were used to convey meaning in that moment. And that's you showing that you understand the collaborative relationship between the sound designer and the lighting designer, or the director and the costume designer, or the actor and the lighting designer. So you want to be writing about these things together and explaining how they come together to convey the message that they're trying to convey. Then you want to explain that you understand how choices made by directors, performers and designers influence meaning and ideas for the audience. So this is simply, does the message come across in those choices that they've made? And if so, how? And if not, why? And through that, you're then making that critical and evaluative judgment. You're saying, this was really effective in showing that message because. Or you're saying this was less effective, and that is why that backs up my statement. So as well as making that critical and evaluative judgment, you also then want to tie it in to that statement that you're answering. So these are simply our how section, where we talk about the different elements coming together. And as I mentioned before, subject-specific terminology, and this is really useful as well, which is why we want to plug our notes full of just the words that we really need to use. So in your revision folder, you've got your different slides for this Iphigenia review. I think the most important thing to remember is that this is a stripped back performance, but there are very specific choices around sound, lighting, set, costume in particular, and the actor's performance. There are more revision resource videos, which I will also share with you in the folder, where I speak to various members of the crew who made this performance. Best of luck with your revision.